Good evening. Are we live? Yes, I can see people coming in. Hello, hello, hello. Let me just get us live on Facebook. Make sure you're saying hello to each other, because I know that we're starting to get some really lovely relationships in the group now, which is good. So, right, bear with me while I just talk to myself and get us live on the Book of Faces. Sharing the group. Tell me who we've got here then, so that I can say hello. I don't know if you can hear my husband and my little boy shouting, but it's bedtime here, and so it's all going on outside my office. Okay, we're just going live on Facebook. Come on, computer. Has everybody had a good day? Or is everybody having a good day? Marketing masterclass. Okay. Are we live? I do this every time, don't I? Are we live? Are we live? Come on. Where am I? Here I am. We are live. Okay. So hello, hello. Let's get back into Zoom and see who we have. Has everybody got a drink? Has everybody got a notepad? Is everybody ready? Because I am raring to go. So let's do some welcomes. Hello, Chris. Hello, Katie. Hello. I think is that another Chris? Yeah, two Chris's. Hello, two Chris's. Hello, Vanessa. Hello, Robert. Hello, Sharon, Lorraine, Mickey, Vanessa again. Oh, look at you all chatting with each other. It's lovely. Hello, Claire. Managed to make it. Woo, woo. Hello, Claire. Robert's good. That's Katie again. Oh, I love that you're all chatting. Hello, Ben. Hello, Sue. I saw that email, Sue, earlier from your colleague, so I will reply to that. So, oh, and you're loving your high performance planner. Yes, I should be on commission for them. Hello, Tammy. Hello, Katie. Andy, you made it, Andy. That client didn't keep you too long, so that's good. So, hello, hello, hello. I am powered by caffeine tonight. So, lots and lots of Diet Coke and coffee. I've had a long, busy day. And you might be able to hear, I've got a bit of a sore throat. So, I'm sure by the time I've finished this exciting masterclass, I will be completely out of voice completely. So I'm special. Oh, thank you, Andy. I know I'm special. You are equally special, I hear. I had a conversation with Jennifer earlier on in the week, and she told me how special you were. Special in a nice way, of course. So what have I got for you tonight? I have got loads to share with you, absolutely loads. I've prepared some notes, and actually I might have too much, but I will plow through as fast as I can without going so fast that I lose you. Obviously, if I do lose you and you want to ask questions, chuck them in the chat box and I will come back to them. And equally, if you sort of leave the masterclass and go off and start reflecting on it, and you want to dial into the mastermind on Thursday, that is a great opportunity for us to drill down deeper into some of your personal questions. So those of us that dialed into the mastermind last week, I'm sure you guys that are here will agree that that mastermind was absolutely awesome, because we got live in the Zoom room. I can actually see you, well, some of you. It's okay to keep your camera off, but if you want to have a proper chit chat, then you know, we can do that on Thursday and really get down into the nitty gritty of your specific marketing questions. So 'twas great. It really was great. So I've been so impressed with you guys. Honestly, I cannot tell you. I have an apology to make to start with, that I am really behind. I think I've got something like 206 quiz replies to reply to. So I've been going as fast as I can, but as fast as I do it, you guys are into the bonus modules. I even had like 6 a.m. messages this morning saying, how do I get in, Rachel? You guys are super keen. So yeah, I am impressed completely and utterly. You've blown me away. So bit of housekeeping. We're recording as usual. I will upload this onto YouTube tomorrow, and then I will put it into the members area. You guys let me know. Are you enjoying the members area? Are you finding it easy to navigate? Are you liking the way that the resources are stored in there for you? Is it, you know, do you ever get any access issues? I think I've only had one of you contact me to say that you can't get in. So the access issues are non-existent, I think. So that's good. A lot of you have been asking me about the 5 C's. So the module unlocks on a Tuesday morning. Well, morning from us in the UK, but in the middle of the night for some of you. And then it's in the evening that we do the masterclass. So you get to see the questions before you get to the masterclass. And that's so I'm giving you the little hints and tips of what things I'm going to ask you so that you can maybe make better notes in the masterclass. So yeah, you do get to see the questions before you do the learning. So that's why some of you are saying, oh no, I can't remember the 5 C's. That's because I haven't told you yet. I'm telling you tonight. So here we go. So where have I got to? Where's my notes? So yeah, the first thing I really want to ask you is, when I say to you the word marketing, how does it actually make you feel? Do you feel apprehensive, nervous? Does it make you feel a bit cringy? We've got excited coming up. That's good. Yeah, how does marketing really make you feel? Pop some words in the chat box for me, because I really do want to see uncomfortable, salesy. That's what I thought you might say. Yeah, heavy, hate it. Oh God, hate it. Hopefully I'll be able to change your mind. Let's see what we've got going on Facebook. So we've got quite a few of you over on Facebook. See if I can see who you all are. So we've got Sally. Oh, 2 Sallys. Hello, 2 Sallys. Got Claire. Hello, Claire. Hello, Maria. Hello, Penny. So yeah, we've got lots of you tonight. You all want to learn marketing. Well, that's good, because marketing is one of my specialist subjects. So I'll tell you a little story. The first marketing job I went for, I didn't get. The first sales job I ever went for, I didn't get. So when I went for the job as a salesperson, I was told I was too much of a marketing person. And I went for the job as a marketing person, and I was told I was too much of a salesperson. So I don't know if I didn't understand myself or they didn't understand me, but either way, I didn't get either of those jobs. And then I fell into sales and had to learn through making a lot of mistakes. So I had one of you message me actually about half an hour ago and say, Rachel, how did you learn all this stuff? And the answer is, I'm totally self-taught. So yes, I've done a few courses. I've done some online courses. I've actually done a business HND, which is a UK qualification, where I studied marketing. But, you know, that was a long time ago, you know, like 20, 30 years ago, probably, yeah, 30 years ago. So we didn't have the internet then. We didn't have social media then. So a lot of this I am totally self-taught at, which means I'm not perfect. Okay, so I'm going to share some stuff with you that is just my view, and it's my view, and I'm sharing it because it's worked for me and it's worked for clients. And I've been delivering this stuff with clients for up to 5 years now. And before that, I managed a team where, you know, part of our job was to advise our clients in how to run their sales and marketing departments in some really big organizations. So I've got a lot of experience of this stuff, but it also doesn't always mean that I'm right, because, you know, there's 100 of you on this program and one size does not fit all. So I'm going to give you broad brush stuff. I'll be able to drill down in more detail on Thursday at the mastermind. And again, you know, if you want to ask me really specific questions, you can do that through the quiz questions, and I can, when I get to them, I will reply and I'll be able to answer your questions. Okay. And don't forget, there's prizes where some of you might, you know, you might win a little strategy session with me. So if you do have real deep questions on this, hopefully you will win one of those prizes and you get to ask me then. So I'm going to share my screen so you don't have to look at my ugly mug all night. And you will now see my slides. Hopefully, if somebody can just let me know loud and clear that you can indeed see my slides, that would be marvelous, just so we know the technology is not letting us down. Let me get the chat back up. Here we go. We are on a roll. We've got the tech working. It's all good. Let's just make sure I can see people on Facebook. Wonderful. See, she can't just do sales and marketing, she can do technology too. So you can all see my slides. Let's get into it. Are we ready? Notepads and high performance planners at the ready. So this is what I'm covering tonight, your social selling strategy. My promise to you is by the time we get off this call in 50 minutes, you will have a social media strategy that you can take away and really make it work for your business, for your niche, for your ideal client, for your services. It's very difficult for you to build a really good marketing plan if you haven't nailed down the ideal client, your value proposition, and you haven't got real clarity about your pricing and your services and your value ladder. So I know a lot of you don't have clarity yet for a number of reasons. There's some of you are still working, you're still building your businesses, which is really exciting. Others of you are sort of transitioning or pivoting from one business to another. So some of those things aren't fully nailed down yet. That doesn't mean that tonight is a waste of time. It just means that you are going to find it a bit more challenging to make marketing work for you and to create those marketing messages if you haven't got clarity on what you're actually marketing, on what you're selling. Because what you don't want to do is attract a load of leads into you for them to say, you know, so tell me, how do I access that service? And you go, oh, I don't really know. I haven't formulated it yet. I don't know how much it costs. So we need to make sure that we do things in the right order, which is why week one was all about mindset and money and really getting clarity around the value ladder and your pricing and what you're selling. So a lot of you have seen that you've got 2 bonus modules unlocked for you. If you haven't seen those yet, they are in the members area. And they unlocked this morning for you, I think, or I might have done them a couple of days ago. But either way, you have a module that's titled Module 2, Marketing for Client Attraction. And you also have 2 that start with bonus, and they're there on the screen for you, Ideal Client and Value Proposition. So that is what we are covering. You're going to have a social media strategy, which begins with this. This is a full circle that is continuous. FAST is the strategy that I use for social media, which you can see stands for find, attract, sell, and get testimonials. First of all, you need to find where your ideal client is. Where are they? What social media channel are they on? What time of day do they go there? How do they show up there? So if it was Facebook, are they in a group? Are they hanging out on their own profile? Where do you actually see them? Are they on Instagram? And if they are, do they do stories? Do they go live on there? Do they just post stuff? Are they a lurker? Do they not engage? They just watch and look and follow, but they don't actually speak. So that's, again, why it's so important that we did the ideal client for you, because you need to know where they are, which platform they're on. So that's the find element of this. We need to know where we need to be. The attract piece is around how we're going to actually attract them to come to us. So there's 2 types of marketing. Well, there's lots of types of marketing, but you know, just taking the 2 at the highest level, there's inbound and outbound. So inbound is where the leads come to you. The shopper, the buyer, takes to the market. So it could be they go to Google, it could be they go to a shop down the high street. However they shop, the buyer finds you and the lead, the inquiry comes in to you. So that's the lead offers themselves up and you don't have to do anything. You are a silent bystander in the process. The lead arrives at your door or in your inbox or wherever it is. Outbound is where you are pushing out to the marketplace. So, and I know some of you specialize in marketing, so I hope you're at home going, yes, Rachel, you are right. Yeah, so there's inbound and outbound. Yeah, and if it's outbound, then you have to do something. Inbound, the lead just arrives. Outbound, you have to do something. You have to push your message out to the market in order to receive the lead. Okay, so tonight, what I'm sharing is a little bit of in and a little bit of out. Yeah, a bit of inbound and outbound marketing, because what we need to do is push our message and our value proposition and our story and our why and all those things, push that out into the market in the places where our ideal client hang out. But that is not enough. So hands up, or, you know, post it in the chat or give me a nod. I can see you guys on Facebook. You're still there. Lurkers. Yeah, lurkers. Let me know if you ever feel like this on social media. You're scrolling through, you see somebody who does what you do, whose business is similar to yours, and you see them post something and it gets your attention. Do you look at them and expect that in the few minutes after they posted that, their phone's ringing off the hook, their emails are flying in, and they are more successful than you? They must be, because they've got that great post and they've got it all figured out and it's all amazing. Do you have that sense that other people who are posting more than you are more successful than you? Okay, that's one question. Do you also, or similarly, do you have the view that if you post out there, that other people, maybe your competitors, maybe your friends and family, maybe just people in your network, look at your post and go, what are you posting that for? That's rubbish, you know, what silly picture, or why did you write it like that? You know, do you have those feelings that stop you from really wanting to post? So you have all the ideas and you maybe get as far as writing them or typing them out, and then you have that little moment where you go, oh God, I just don't want to post it. There's something holding you back. So what are you all saying? Oh, we've got some asterisks and things in there. Mark Valence, are you swearing in my class? Get to the back of the class. But yeah, no, you're right. You do think that. A lot of people think that. So yes, all the time. Some much more well established, some similar to you. I'm in marketing and I still think that every day. Hannah, I know. I have those feelings. Everybody has those feelings, because you want to get it right so much. Yeah, we all want to get it right so much. And sometimes perfect is not the way to go. Sometimes just getting it done and learning from mistakes is a good way to go. So you can learn what gets people engaged, what doesn't, what hashtags work, which ones don't. So yeah, try to release those fears, because if you don't get comfortable with posting, you will be constantly just sat there watching other people do it, and they will pick up the leads and they will grow their businesses, and it won't be you. So you have to get focused on the right mindset for you to be able to post and show your services, show your skills, show your experience. So for those of you that have those feelings of marketing is a bit awkward or a bit sleazy or a bit salesy, and you don't want to brag, you don't want to big yourself up, you don't want to be seen to be showy and me, all of those icky feelings about marketing, I've got one piece of very important news for you. None of it matters. None of it. Not one single bit. Because every single one of you has the best marketing tool that you could possibly have. Okay, there's loads of different marketing tools, but there is one very, very special marketing tool that we all need to be successful. And every single person that's watching this on the class, on Facebook, on YouTube, everywhere, every single one of you has this one thing. Who can tell me what the number one marketing tool is that we all need to be successful? Who is going to get there first? Pair of ears. Yourself. Yes, Chris. Yes, well done. It's you. It's you. You are the marketing tool. You are your services, your experience, your life skills, all of your brilliance. That is what you need for good marketing. Because the minute that you don't have you as your best, most unique selling point, you lose a part of your message. You have to be present within all of your messages. Otherwise, they lose their authenticity, they lose their integrity, they lose their vulnerability. And so you have to be present. And that's why I would never outsource all of my social media to even the best agency in the world, because they can't be me. And your agencies, your outsourced people can never be you. So you can get people to write some posts for you, but I would always want them to come by my eyes so that I could tweak and change them and make them me, the way that I would say it, okay? So that you have to be very, very clear. And please always remember, the best marketing tool you will ever have is right up here. It's in your brain. It's the way that you articulate things. That is what people buy, okay? And that's why it's so important to create relationships. So we've got find, we've got attract, we've got sell. So the posts that go out don't sell anything, okay? Unless you're in e-commerce and you're putting posts on Etsy or Amazon, then your posts can sell. But if you're selling services where, you know, an inquiry, a conversation needs to be had, posts alone aren't enough to make sales. You need to have conversations. So that's why the next bit is sell. And a lot of that goes on in the DMs. So I know a lot of people who never post on social media, that they do a lot of outbound DMing. So they start their conversations and do their relationship building in the DMs. So we're going to talk about that. And testimonials. You've got to shout from the rooftops. If you have added value to somebody and you've delivered results to somebody, and you know beyond any doubt whatsoever that that person thinks that you, your company, your product, your service is amazing, that's the moment that you ask for the testimonial. But the testimonial is no good if it's just sat on Google or just sat on your Facebook page doing nothing. You have to shout about it. And again, those of you that feel that that's a bit braggy and a bit egotistical, try to make it sound different. Make it sound like you're celebrating, like you're proud, that you want your network to be proud with you. It doesn't have to go, hey, look at me. You can just say, hey, I'm blown away that my client was that impressed with our work. It's, you know, it's blown me away. So there's different ways that you can do testimonial posts that get rid of that awkward feeling of bragging that, you know, we all have. So the big picture is it's inbound, it's outbound, and we're going to use the FAST model that goes around and around and around. This is brilliant. Oh, thank you, Claire. Yay, 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 yay. So I'm going to tie all this together at the end, okay? So the FAST process goes around and it's a constant cycle. Next, we get into the 5 C's. So this is what had some of you on your mobiles to me this morning going, please let me in. I need to see the 5 C's. They are consistency. They are content of value, content that adds value. They are your credentials. It is conversation and it is the call to action. So every good social media strategist, every good social media user uses these 5 C's, okay? And we're going to get into some detail around these. So give me some idea in the chat. How many days a week are you comfortable engaging or posting or doing whatever you feel comfortable doing on social media? How many days a week feels right for you? Let me check my Facebook, guys. How many days a week? 5, 1, 5, 2. So we've got some real different numbers coming in there. You aim at 5, 7, 0.25. That's how much you do, Mark, yeah? 1.5. You respond every day. Okay, some real good variances there. Once a month, Mark, you need to pull your socks up, buddy. Try to do something most days. Yeah, the actual reality is this, again, it's not a one size fits all. You have to find something that you are comfortable with. It is pointless me saying to you, do 7 days a week, and the first week you go, oh, okay, Rachel, I'll do that. And you don't hit 7, you do 2, and then you feel rubbish because you've missed a goal, and it just makes you feel terrible. So you're better off making a small, manageable goal, something that you feel comfortable with and that you can commit to and you can follow through and do and feel good about that, than to try to set the bar too high and not reach it. So you can slowly get the bug for social media. When I first started social media, there's no way I would have posted 7 days a week. But I do now. I try to now. And some of those posts are just fun posts. Just, hey, this is what I'm doing on a Sunday, or, you know, just thought for the day, or, you know, something that's not necessarily a big work-related post, okay? So first thing with consistency is do what you feel comfortable with. But when you commit to that number, do it consistently each week. So don't do 7 days one week, 1 day the next, 7 days the following week, 2 days the next. because your audience, they won't know whether you're going to show up or not. They won't know if you're there. They won't know if you're ignoring their comment. They want to know you're either a 7-day user or a 1-day user, because that way they can start to rely on you. And the first part of building a relationship is the reliability. The way that you behave on social media shows them what you would be like to work with. If you're here today, gone tomorrow, that might be what you're like to work with. They don't know that. They haven't experienced that yet. They've only experienced what you show them. So if you show them what I try to do, which is be really present, be really engaged and show up daily, what I'm trying to demonstrate isn't that I'm addicted to my mobile phone and I'm addicted to social media. It's that I'm reliable and I show up and I can commit and follow through with what's expected of me. So that I'm trying to demonstrate what it's like to work with me. So try to see it from that perspective. If you are very committed to your clients, which I'm sure you all are, and you are constantly delivering great service and you're always at the end of the phone if they've got a query, then why would you want them to feel differently about you on social media? So think about it from that point of view. Again, don't overcommit, but just think about what you can realistically get done. I can see a question there. Do you post different things on different platforms every day, or do you post the same thing? Great question, Penny. I tend to, sometimes things will get scheduled, and if I outsource some things, then scheduling definitely happens, because then I get to see it before it actually goes out. If I do it all myself, which at the moment I am, because I've got slightly more time, then I post on Instagram and it automatically goes onto Facebook. So if you've got Instagram and Facebook linked, you always, the best way round to do it is post on Instagram and it shoots to Facebook. You can do it the other way round, where you post on Facebook and it goes to Instagram, but the algorithm doesn't like that as much. It much prefers post on Instagram and that automatically goes to Facebook. So when you're thinking about which channel to use, you know, you've got a number of options. Last night we had the masterclass on Pinterest. You know, at the moment, I'm totally in love with Instagram because I love the creativity of it all. I've had thousands of pounds of work through LinkedIn because I love LinkedIn. So my two favorite places are LinkedIn and Instagram. But actually, when you look at the ROI and you look at the results and the work that's come in across different social media platforms for the whole 5 years of my business, I'd say Facebook probably nails it because of its reach. But when you look at how to engage with Facebook, whether to use your profile, whether to use a business page, or whether to use a group, you know, like we've got, Facebook pages get very, very low engagement, very low. They do generate some conversation in DMs, like people will ask about services. But I think these days, if you're trying to get reach on a business page, you're going to struggle without doing paid ads. And I don't want to tell you guys to do paid ads, because you don't need paid ads. You can do organic, you can do free and get some really, really good results. So you don't need to do paid ads to get results. So yes, really think about the platform. The best scheduler that I would advise, I can see somebody's popped that in the chat, is Hootsuite. I get on best with that myself. I've used Buffer. I know Instagram, there's one called Later, I think it's called Later or Lately, which people seem to rave about. The one other good thing as well about Facebook, you can schedule directly on Facebook. So sometimes if I think of things that I might want to say in our group, and I think of 3 things, for example, that I want to say, I wouldn't just do 1, 2, 3, bang, and just throw them at you consecutively. I can say, well, actually, I'll tell them that today, and that one, I'll make that go out tomorrow. And you can do that directly on Facebook, which is really easy to do. And if you ever want to amend it or add to it, you can do that easily on Facebook. So you guys that probably have lots of questions about the nitty-gritty of different platforms, I think I won't be able to cover the strategy and all the nitty-gritty of each platform tonight, but we can certainly get some experts like we did last night with Pinterest, and you know, and I'm happy to share my screen and show you how I do some of the things that I do in future lives in the group. So I hope I haven't missed any other questions, but yeah, we can get into that. So 5 C's. Number 1, consistency. Figure out how frequently you are prepared to show up, and make sure that you can do that on a regular basis. Okay, it's all right to take little holidays, but think about just over the average of a period of weeks, how many days a week can you show up? And what you really need to do is think about at what time is your ideal client showing up on those channels. So Instagram, for example, is really good at giving you the insights and the time of day and whether or not your audience is male, female, and the span of ages. Instagram's got some real easy insights. Facebook, they're all there, but they're slightly more tricky to get to. But just think about when you're showing up. Are you showing up at the right time to actually meet your ideal client there? The next point is the valuable content. It's got to be valuable. Okay, it's okay to put a thought for the day and a short quote, and all that stuff is good, but it's not going to get you deep, meaningful engagement. So Sally and I were chatting earlier, weren't we, about what is long copy. When I say you need to post a long copy post, it means there's lots of text. So it you know, on Instagram, it goes down the whole page of the post. You have, you know, like an opening line, and then you have maybe a paragraph, and then you have some bullet points of things, that topics that you want to share. So I will often share things like, I might ask a question. So your opening line is really, really important, because sometimes that's all people see before they have to say, you know, read more, I want to see more. So your opening line needs to entice people in. And then you can have an opening paragraph where maybe you talk about how you're feeling about the day or the topic, or you ask how your audience is feeling about it, or you just have an opening paragraph. And we can get into the making of a post in a minute. And then you might have some bullet points, and you might be an emoji user or a non-emoji user. I am an emoji user, and I think emojis have their place. So on Facebook and Instagram, emojis great. On LinkedIn, probably not quite so popular. So just think about how you appeal to the different audiences, okay? And if you're not following me on any particular channel that you want to learn more about, come and follow me. And if you see me do something and you think, why is she doing that? There must be a reason, because there's always a reason. There's always a methodology for me. If you see me doing something on my channel, then you can say, Rachel, what's that all about? Why do you do that? What's the impact of that? What would happen if you didn't do it? Okay, so I'm more than happy for you to follow me and ask me those questions. Tammy, you're saying, do you need to invest in LinkedIn Premium? No, you don't. I know a lot of people at the moment are using Sales Navigator, which is even more expensive. You don't. To be really good at LinkedIn, you just need to see it like real life networking. So I know a lot of people on LinkedIn, when you look at somebody's profile, I know a lot of people go, oh, I don't want them to know I've been looking. Well, why not? Because if you were in a networking room, you'd be looking at them. If you were in a circle having a conversation with a number of people, you'd be in their company. What's the harm in that? Yeah. So I think just be proud, just be a networker, be interested, be curious, ask questions, and just try to see social media like a real life networking room, because that is what it is. You are there to build relationships. I don't see social media even as technology, because if you see it as technology, the barriers come up. It's just people. It's people that you need to meet and have a relationship with. It's just that technology sits in between you, okay? And you just need to figure out the way that the different algorithms work for each platform and what the rules are. You know, it's like sport. If you went and played rugby using football's rules, you'd get kicked off the pitch. And it's exactly the same with social media. If you go onto LinkedIn using Instagram's rules, you won't get very far. If you take your LinkedIn strategy and use it on Facebook, you won't get very far. Every social media platform has their own algorithm and their own set of rules, and you need to learn how to play those rules. So Instagram, 30 hashtags. LinkedIn, only 3. So very, very different, very, very different. Instagram rewards community, LinkedIn, not so much. Yeah, so we can get loads more into that detail with questions. You guys are really on it in the chat. Can you go back over your posts and see people who engage with you and then get in touch? Yes, you can. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. As long as it wasn't like last year, I would definitely do that and say, oh, apologies. I did that the other day. I found a message in LinkedIn from somebody that was about 3 weeks old, and I hadn't seen it because they come in so quickly that they get buried. So yeah, I would absolutely go back. Absolutely go back. So I'm going high speed here because I'm looking at the time. So valuable content. You need to really think about what does your audience, what does your ideal client want from you? What might they need from you? So when I gave you the bonus module for your ideal client, in that I asked you, what is your ideal client's needs, wants, problems, goals? Because it's those things that you need to post about. That is what they would find valuable. Okay. One of the other things that you can do on I think all of them actually, LinkedIn, you can do polls, Facebook, you can do polls, Instagram, you've got polls in your stories. You can ask your audience. Once you've built up a bit of a community and you've built up a loyal following, you can ask them, what more can I share with you? What would you like to know? And people will tell you. If they like you and they trust you and they rely on your content, they'll tell you, please can you tell me about this? So you can use polls to really draw in that engagement. So we can come back to content in a minute. Credentials. This sort of goes back to your testimonials. It goes back to your history, your story. Why do you do what you do? So again, method in my madness, when I asked you in the quiz questions, what is your why? What is your purpose? What is your story, your backstory? That's to help to surface in you some of the things that you need to share with your audience. People buy from people. Fact. Okay? Buying decisions are not made with logic. They're not made with rational thinking. They're made with emotional thinking, different part of the brain. Buying decisions are made with heart. All right? There might be a little bit of head in there, if there's some statistics to weigh up. If you're buying a car, you might look at fuel consumption. So there is some logic in there, but when you actually make the decision, you make it based on heart. You make it based on, have I enjoyed this process? Do I like this person? Have they made me feel safe? Have they made me feel secure in my decision? Are they honest? Do I trust them? Will they care if I buy this and I have a problem and I need to talk to them about it? You need to feel the heart when you make a buying decision, and sometimes it's very, very subconscious. Sometimes you don't know that you've made the decision with your heart. You think you've made it with your head because you want to believe that you're logical and sensible, but actually you make it with your heart. You just don't like the person. I can remember walking out of Curry's. So for anybody not in the UK, Curry's, it's a TV, you can go in there and buy electricals, and we were buying a TV, and they had the TV we wanted, they had it at the price that we were prepared to pay, but the service was shocking, absolutely shocking, and I just didn't like the guy. And I said to him, I train people how to sell, I train people on customer service, and I'm just not enjoying this experience. And so I'm going to phone the shop in the next town, and I'm going to ask them if they've got it. And I stood there and made the call. They said, yes, Mrs. Howourt, yes, you can come over now. We've got it here. And I literally walked out the shop and showed the guy, I'm going because you failed. You failed to be kind to me and my family. So sometimes it's subconscious, but sometimes it's very conscious that you just get a feeling, I just don't like you. I just don't want to buy from you. Whether it's a product that you just get to walk away with, or it's a service where, the person actually has to deliver the service. Imagine buying a coaching program from me. If you absolutely didn't like me and you didn't like the way I communicated, you wouldn't want to buy it. So, yeah, you have to think about how you're going to create that emotional connection on social media. And it is not through just putting posts out. It's got to be conversation, and you've got to show your credentials. So I can see loads and loads of questions here. Let me just make sure I'm not ignoring you guys. How selective am I on accepting friend or connection requests? Not that selective, Andy. I have a couple of rules. If there's no photograph, no accept. Absolutely not. If there's no photograph, no way. Often I won't accept if it's not a photograph of a person. So if it's a photograph of trees or something, I won't accept that, because I'm suspicious and I just wonder what it's all about. So I will have a look at the profile. I won't accept on LinkedIn. I won't accept anybody that's got less than 50 followers, because I assume that they're a bot or they're not a real person. And I don't accept people who sell services like SEO en masse, because they just hammer your inbox. Literally, they just hammer, and I haven't got time for that. So I don't accept. If it says we sell SEO and WordPress websites, no, sorry, you're not coming into my network. So, but other than that, I allow everybody in, and I expect them to behave nicely. And if I see that they don't, I just delete or block immediately. So no conversation, they're just gone. So if I get, you ladies on the call, you are going to laugh now, but if I get American Bob in his army outfit saying, hey, pretty, you look lovely, how about we have a chat? No, sorry, I don't care that you're in the army and you're on your own. No. There's all sorts of very strange DMs that we probably all get. So the minute I get that, delete, block, no. I have some people who get your mobile number and they'll just call you on WhatsApp. Again, block, straight out, gone. Because if somebody's genuine and they want to talk to you, they'll send you a message first. So yeah, I don't go in for all that. My ideal customers are lurkers. Yeah. So how do I? So Penny, that's a really good question. Quite a long answer. How do I find out what their pain is without asking? I would say if they're your ideal client, are they ideal because you've already dealt with somebody like them? And if you've already dealt with somebody like them, ask them. If they're an ideal client that you've never worked with before, and so you want to go into that niche, then I would do polls on things like Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook, and I would try to learn more about them. I might even go into a direct message with them and send them a really nice message and ask to pick their brains. Don't tell them why. Just say, I've had a look at your profile. I'm really keen to understand blah, blah, and blah. I'd love to pick your brains. Have you got 5 minutes? Most people are flattered by that, and they'll give you some time. Whereas if you send a really long DM with links and advertising in, they just won't reply. So yeah, can I pick your brains is a really good way of getting a reply. I'm getting more picky. Yeah, definitely. Picky is sometimes really good. It's our time at the end of the day. It is our time. Be yourself on social media completely. So I think I've answered all the questions. You guys are chatty tonight. You got sleazy DMs. Oh God, yeah, they're just awful. How do I connect with people who are on social media but may not interact? Busy CEOs. Yeah, that's tricky. Often those CEOs, they will reply. So I've had there's one CEO not far from here. It's about 3 years ago, and I nearly didn't send the mail, but I got brave and I pinged it, and he pinged straight back and said, amazing, I'd love to chat. Are you free to have a coffee or something? And he was a CEO of a massive organization. So I'd say just do it then. Just send the mail. Wait for you to not get the reply before you assume that they don't go into their DMs, because they might. Okay, thinking of time. So we've done credentials. It's important to share your story. Yeah, you are unique. You are your marketing tool. Make sure I'm not ignoring you guys on Facebook. Point 4, conversation. So this is the bit you have to get into the DMs. You have to, because sales don't get made on posts. Have you ever seen anybody on a post put a comment, I want to buy from you? No, they just don't do it. So would I connect? Yes, I would connect. So I'd send a request, Ben, first, and then I would follow that acceptance up. So I'd give them a reason why I want to connect. Then I would follow the acceptance up with a thank you for connecting. And on every platform where I'm connecting with somebody who I value, i.e. I think they look like an ideal client, I will say this precisely in these words. Thank you for connecting with me. I hope you enjoy my posts. I will say something like, I followed back for you. So if it's on Instagram, I followed back for you, because the theory of reciprocity, that's a tricky word, but if you do something for them, they will do something back for you. So if you say, I followed for you, you're making it really clear that you've done something positive and good for them. So they will then feel that they need to do something good for you back. So if the next thing you do is ask them an open question to get them chatting, they will feel compelled to reply, because you've done something kind and helpful for them. So you can, you can use those little tips of, if any of you want to read about that theory of reciprocity, it really does work. It's very powerful. So conversation, you need to get into these DMs, guys. I'm going to give you some ideas of what to say in a minute. And it has to finish with a call to action. There is no point in having loads of great conversation if you are not going to give them a call to action. Okay? And a call to action could be, the link's in my bio, go and book onto this. It could be, let's have a coffee one day, what do you think? It could be, I'd love to give you access to my free training. That's one I use. Or I've written a blog, would you like to read it? I think it'd be really great for you. Anything that you have identified in your value ladder that is at your free stage, the base of your ladder. Because if it's at the base of your ladder, what you're doing by giving them that call to action and bringing them into the base of your ladder, you are then allowing them to start to build that relationship where the next step up the ladder is your low cost option. So you're not asking them to go for 0 to 100 miles an hour with you. Yeah, you're not asking them to go from zero spend to suddenly spending £5,000 with you. You're giving them the opportunity to get to know you. That is why the value ladder is so important, because if you put posts on social media and you get into the DMs, and the minute you get the opportunity to sell something, you're into the multiple thousands of pounds worth, then you're actually going 0 to 100 miles an hour. And sometimes people want to learn to trust you at a slower rate than that, which is why the value ladder is so important. How do we know if they will climb the value ladder? Because we treat them nicely to ease, and we deliver results for them. So if they hop onto that base level and it's a freebie, so you give them access to a blog with some useful information, a checklist, a web page, some real useful stuff for them, and it delivers for them. It delivers what they need. That little light bulb of trust starts to glow. And once you then start to communicate, because if you give them something on your value ladder, you really want to get an email address or something where you can start to communicate with them. So you need to, if you've got the know-how, the technology, or you can work with somebody to help you, if you give something away that's of really high value, but you give it away for free, then always get an email address, build that list, and then communicate with that list. Because then when you deliver results and you deliver value against your promises, they will then hop up the ladder with you. Okay, that is how it works. I promise. Okay, call to action. So you all know the call to action is give them something to do. Okay, always, every sales interaction, we're doing sales next week, but every sales interaction you have, and the average B2B sale, so business to business, the average number of touch points is 20. 20 touch points before somebody offers you to buy something. Yeah, offers you money for a service or a product. 20 touch points. Now, they don't have to be 20 meetings or 20 phone calls. That could be a comment on a social media post. It could be a DM. It could be a series of DMs. But 20, that's quite a lot. But those 20 can happen really quite quickly. Okay. One of the strangest but really good sales that I've made probably 4 years ago now was with a really big firm. It was actually a law firm. You'd expect if they were going to make an inquiry to me that it would have been made formally and properly because of the type of firm that they were. But no, it came in first, I think it was on Twitter. So into a Twitter DM. It then moved to LinkedIn. It then moved to, I wasn't on Instagram then. So then I think it moved to Facebook. and it darted around all the different DMs. So this conversation was ongoing, but wherever they saw I was, they were carrying on the conversation. So I couldn't piece it all together unless I went back through all my different social media channels to figure out what they wanted, why they wanted it, could I really help them? But it ended up, we had a great relationship. I delivered, quite a bit of training for them, but they didn't play by the rules. They didn't find my email address and send me a proper formal inquiry. They just did it in the social media DMs. So all the activity, even if somebody's account looks dormant, there could be a lot going on in the DMs, okay? So don't be afraid of the DMs. There's a lot going on in there. Okay, I'm going to blow your mind now. Some of you have already seen this, okay? So this is a PDF in the members area for you. You can download this and use it to your heart's content. So let me just talk you through it very quickly. Your ideal customer sits in the middle, okay? Because they are the center of your universe. Nothing you ever do can be done without considering your ideal customer, okay? They are front and center of everything. This wheel begins at the educate stage, so at the sort of 10 o'clock point. And that is where you're going to spend 30% of your time. So in this social media strategy that you're going to build, you spend 30% of your time educating your audience, educating them on what you do, on why you do it, on why it's useful, on how it's going to solve their problem. You educate them. I'm not saying you educate them because they're stupid and they don't know the answers, but sometimes people don't know what they don't know. They don't know that they need your service because they've never really thought about it until they see your post posing a few questions to them and getting them thinking, and they start to dwell on that, and maybe they see your post regularly, and then they start to surface the feeling of, actually, that is talking to a problem that I actually have and I need to get that solved. So the educational bit is thinking back to the 5 C's and the content of value. Educational content is high value. That's why we're all here. I'm educating you now. You're here because I'm educating you on something that you want to know. You're not here because you like me, or maybe you are a little bit, but you're here because I'm sharing stuff with you. People want to be educated to help them reach the goals that they have, to help them solve the problems that they've got, to help them aspire to bigger, better things, to reach their ambitions. And your clients, your ideal clients, are exactly the same. So the educate stage is where you're going to spend 30% of your time. So for every 10 posts that you create, 3 of them will be educational. All right. And so on that wheel there, you can see the customer language where I've got the little speech mark. And imagine your ideal client is saying to you, help me to understand my problem and how to solve it. So when you plan your content, you're planning to do what they're asking you to do. Help me understand it. Ask me questions about, do I feel like this or like this or like this? Do I want to achieve this instead? Help me understand my problem. Okay. And you've got then some ideas there. Videos, great for that. Infographics are great for telling stories and helping people uncover how they feel about certain things. And blogs, again, so if you think about video, infographics and blogs, they're all long copy things. They're really good educational tools, okay? So the educate stage, really, really, really important. And that's where the wheel begins. Next, you go round into the interest stage and the engage stage, and they're both 20% each. So 2 out of 10 posts on interest, 2 out of 10 posts on engage, 20% on each. And on the interest type posts, you'd be saying, show me, or the client is saying, show me that you have the credentials to win my trust. I'm not going to give my trust for nothing. You have to earn it. Show me that you've got those credentials. Get my interest, pique my interest with what you know. And then I will want to read your posts more. Then when you send me a DM, I'm going to reply to you because you've shown me, you've educated me, you've wowed me with your knowledge. Now you're going to pique my interest in the fact that you've got the credentials to actually win my trust and solve my problems. And, introducing them to who you work with, sharing your values and your purpose, sharing case studies and statistics. That's the stuff that's really going to get them interested. So if I was to say to you now, people that I work with get a 4 times return on investment, and I guarantee that. That's the sort of stat that would get people going, really? 4 times? So if I spend £1,000 with you, you're going to give me 4,000 back. That's really good odds. That's an example of a stat that would get somebody's interest peaked. Okay, so think about your business. What stats can you share that would get your audience thinking, does Sally offer that for me? Does Sarah offer that for me? Think about what you do and how you can show that off to really get their interest peaked, okay, and show your credentials. The engage stage, their wording is, build a relationship so that I may learn to trust you. So this is two-way now. This is, educate and interest are outward posts. Engage is, we're talking now. This is a two-way relationship. So I'm sending you messages. I'm asking you questions in polls. I'm doing social media stories that give you an insight into my life and show my personality. I might ask you to fill out a survey. So, like last year in my other business, we did a survey to something like 40 companies all around the area that we live, and we asked them about how they buy L&D and how they buy training. And so the data that they gave us was really useful, and it helped us build an insightful story, but it also gave us 40 new decision makers to talk to. So, surveys are a really great way of getting people's insight, but also starting a conversation. So think about how you're going to engage. And if you add up 30%, 20%, 20%, that's 70%. All right. I can still do maths at this time of night. It's dark outside now. If you add that up, that's 70% of your time is spent on those real detailed value add posts. Only when you get to promote does it drop down to 10%. That's 1 in 10 posts. And when I say promote, I mean the real here's an offer for you. Here's the price tag, buy it now. Those types of promotions. A post that is educational with a, give me a chat if you want to find out more. You could argue that that's promotional, but I don't call that promotional because I'm offering so much value. You can offer all that valuable content to then have a call to action that says, hey, let's chat. That's not promotion. Promotion is where you go, buy my services, it's X £1,000 and this is what you'll get, and we start tomorrow. That's promotional. That's the bit that's quite, in your face promotional. And what the client's saying at that point is, give me a reason to want to buy from you when I'm ready. Okay. Hi, Rachel, if you're promoting a webinar, how often would you post about it? Not sure if this is promotional or educational. Really good question, Ben. And obviously, I do a lot of webinars. So I use different ways of selling webinars. So I would engage a writer to write me some blogs where the blog is about the topic that I'm covering in the webinar. And then at the end of the blog, you post a link to how this is how you buy tickets. I would send DMs. I would call in my network and say, I'd really love it. You must know some people that this webinar's good for. Please, can you share this with your market? I have agreements in place with people who partner with us where we share their links on our newsletter and they share ours. So I would use a whole array of different things to get people on a webinar. But really good question, Ben. And I probably wouldn't call it true promotion because it is a value add. If the webinar is a value add, that free webinar is in your value ladder at the base level. So you can't sell something that's free because it's free. So that's your value, that where you're going to get their email addresses. So that's all part of the value ladder piece. So I hope that helps. And then the other parts of the wheel, I'm just looking at the time, I need to hurry up. You've got communicate and entertain. So they're sort of 10% each. Communicate is keep me up to date and feeling like I'm part of your community. So talk to me, let me know what you're doing. People, if they're going to buy from you, they want to know you. They want to be able to trust you. And so you need to have a little bit of communication and just let them know your company news, let them know, where you went on holiday, or introduce them to your family, or just bits of communication that allow people to get an insight into who you are. And then the last bit is entertain. So sometimes it doesn't always have to be about work. It can just be fun. Yeah, it can just be you being you, them being them, and just have some fun with it, you know, have some banter. Quizzes and quotes and things like that are just good for, you know, taking the load off sometimes and taking the pressure off and not making it all about work. So there's that wheel. That wheel is going to absolutely help you to come up with some post and some copy. And to tell you what I do, I use that wheel. You can see there behind me on my whiteboard. I will literally use that wheel on that whiteboard, and I will ask myself the questions as if I'm the client, and I will spidergram it and create loads and loads and loads of questions. So when I write my posts, I write it as if I'm writing to a specific person, because that way when my ideal client reads it, it resonates and they know it's for them. Okay, so you guys are going to want to dial into the mastermind on Thursday. I know you're going to want to do that, because I know that you've got so many questions. Your brains are probably like going 100 miles an hour now, thinking, I'm just desperate to get started. So every post counts, okay? The words I've got here on screen, every post counts. Don't waste posts. If you're only going to show up twice a week, those 2 posts have got to be amazing. Don't just waste it with a one-liner. Do a really good detailed post. The opening line matters. The content matters. The hashtags really matter, okay? And there must be a call to action. If there's no call to action, you've wasted it. You need to tell people what to do sometimes. People like to be directed, okay? We all like to feel that we're in control of our own mind. But when we're feeling vulnerable, when we're feeling like we've got a problem and somebody in front of us is able to solve it, which is what you've got, you know, when you're doing your social media, you're talking to your ideal client whose problem you can solve. They're feeling vulnerable. They've got a problem. They're not going to share it with you willingly. You've got to drag it out of them. So you've got to make them feel comfortable to tell you that problem when they're ready. Okay, so little call to actions like, hey, drop me a question, ask me about this, or let's chat. You know, all those little things will be sort of piecing together those little vulnerabilities, and one day they'll go, do you know what, I'm actually going to talk to him or her. I'm going to do that because they seem really nice. I had a call the other day with a lady straight from Instagram. We'd had a few like messages. She was in a foreign country, totally different time zone, and we managed to align our diaries, get on a call. We do a similar job, and we just really got on, you know, like she's now going to help me promote my stuff. I'm going to help her promote her stuff. And that stuff really works, okay? So don't be afraid to ask people to jump on calls with you. Just go for it. What's the worst that can happen? They say no. So what? Move on to the next. Yeah, it's not personal. It's never personal. So let's move on so that you guys can crack on. So here's a few ideas of things that you can put in the DMs, okay? So you might be sat there thinking, oh, Rachel, there's so much content here. You've given me so much, but I still don't know what I'm going to put in the DMs. Here's a few ideas. So I called my husband in on your talk. He's been listening. Hello, husband. So yeah, more the merrier. Thank you, Claire. So yeah, the DMs. Don't be afraid of the DMs, okay? But you have to start very gently. You cannot go in with, I put a post out the other day, the 3 worst questions, in my opinion, are how are you? I mean, how are you? Who's going to answer that? If somebody says, how are you? Or you say, how are you? They're going to say, firstly, in their mind, they're going to go, well, why do you care? You don't even know me. Secondly, they're going to just go, fine, how are you? Or great, how are you? Or great, I don't really care how you are. Yeah, so how are you? Don't waste your energy with that. That's never going to get you anywhere. The other one I really don't like is, what goals are you working on now? Because they aren't going to tell you. They've only just met you. Why would they tell you what their goals are? Why would they tell you what their challenges are? That's the other one I hate. What are your big goals and what are your big challenges? They're not going to tell you the answer to that. You're a stranger until you've had lots of two-way conversation in the DMs and lots of interaction on social media. You are a stranger to them. So take it slow. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Okay, remember 20 touch points on average. So here I've got some of the things. So starting in the bottom left corner, I've got, I loved your post on blah, blah, blah. I'd love to hear more on it. What does that do? It shows them that you've read their post. It shows them that you've taken the time to ask more about it. And it shows them that you're interested. Okay? You could have just posted that as a comment, but you've taken the time to go to the DMs and write them something personal. It should never be a copy paste. It should always be personal, and it should read personal. And if you write something like that, then they are highly likely to reply, because why would they not? It's rude not to. And they've probably been on a course with a person like me saying, always reply to your DMs. So quite often in the DMs, you're selling to them. They might be trying to sell to you as well. And so you're feeling each other out. Okay. So I loved your post on X. I was really interested because of this. I've experienced the same, or I've had that problem before, or whatever. I'd love to hear more about it. You know, what was the impact? How did the story end up, or whatever it is? But that's a good one. Tell me about your business and what you do here on Instagram or LinkedIn. So you can make a comment about what you've learned about them, and then say, but tell me more. I'd love to learn more about you. What big projects are you working on? Again, that can be in response to a post that you've seen them either put out themselves or a comment that they've made on somebody else's. An old colleague of mine that I used to work with years ago put something on LinkedIn the other day about moving to a new job, and it was in a field that I'm really interested in. So I put a comment and said, hey, you know, like, I'm doing some work with that sector too. Should we have a chat one day? And he hasn't even replied to me yet, but another person that we both used to work with has replied and said, Rachel, I must chat with you. I'm chatting with him on Thursday. I'm working in that sector too. This is what I'm doing. I see what you're doing. Let's chat. We can help each other. So just think about how you can leverage what they post about, what they comment about, and what you're interested in, and just ways to get a conversation going. Top right. Hope you like my posts. They're about sales training or whatever. Is that something that you're interested in? Which sort of leads you on to on the left-hand side. If you've ever got any questions on that, I'm more than happy to help. So you can just, you know, ask real subtle questions, make observations about what they do. I followed back for you there on the right in the turquoise. That's a really good one. I followed back for you. So I will often say, I followed back for you. I hope you enjoy my posts. They're usually about blah, blah, and blah. I've seen what you post about. It looks great. Tell me more about your business. And they start talking to you. If you then steam in with, well, I sell blah, would you like to buy some? The relationship's over. So you've got to do it really, really, really gently. And again, imagine that you are face to face with them in a networking room. Imagine you've met them at a party. Okay, imagine you're going on a date with them. You know, imagine going on a first date with somebody and then suddenly saying, do you want to get married? It's a bit weird. So if you suddenly try to sell something to somebody the minute you've met them, it's the same as proposing to a stranger. You wouldn't do it. Or maybe you would if they were really hot. But that's a whole different webinar. So who do you aspire to in your niche? That's another question that gets people thinking, well, who do I aspire to? Who do I want to be like? That leads them to talk about what their goals are, but they don't really know that that's where they're going to end up. They just start talking about who they aspire to. So there's just a few ideas for you about things that you can say in the DMs. But you're all nice people. You all know how to build relationships. Don't lose those skills that are so natural when you're with somebody in person. Don't lose those skills just because you're on social media, because you're still a nice person. They're still a nice person. Just play nice and get to know each other, and then let natural things just happen. All right. So this is the other document that you have got. All right. So within the members area, this is called, I think I've called it your social selling strategy. So what you'll see is it's an Excel document. I've housed it in Dropbox. So when you open it up in the members area, you should be able to download it to your own computer so that you have it forever. And it's in Excel, okay? None of the cells are locked. You can type into all of it. And what this will do is it will guide you to be able to create your strategy. So you can see down the left in the orange, I've got your fast, remember from the beginning? Yeah, I've got the fast. So that just reminds you where do things fit and why would I be wanting to do these things in that way? So that gives you your framework. And then moving into the next column, that's where you've got mostly your 5 C's. Okay, I've added hashtags in there, but that's where I'm showing you where do the 5 C's align to fast and how do the two fit together to create your strategy, okay? So you've got consistency along the top because that shows you how many days a week are you going to do, and you can fill it in. I've just put 1 in there, but you can fill it in however many you want to do that you're comfortable with. And then what you can do is just fill in the boxes to say, you know, on Monday, I'm going to do 1 post. How am I going to find my ideal client? Well, on Monday, I'm going to find them in Instagram. That's what I'm going to do. Who am I looking for? I'm looking for, you know, whoever your ideal client is, women of 30 to 50 who do blah, blah, blah. What hashtags might I use? So you can start to research the hashtags and try to use hashtags that don't have too many views, too many posts. So Sally and I were chatting earlier in the Facebook group about I think it was mindset, wasn't it? If you look at hashtag mindset, there's something like 10 million people use that hashtag. If you look at hashtag mindset goals or mindset coaching, you have less. If you look at longer hashtags, you tend to have less again. So the real sweet spot on Instagram is to look for hashtags that have got less than 50,000 posts, because then you get to cut through the noise. Okay, it's slightly harder to research the hashtags on other platforms. On LinkedIn you can, but nobody really uses hashtags on LinkedIn to search, but they do on other platforms. So think about what hashtags you're going to use, and then just go down that column. What am I going to post? So use your content wheel to provoke ideas. What success stories can I share to demonstrate my credentials? How am I going to do my call to action to point to my loyalty ladder, your value ladder, sorry. So that, you know, that will get you thinking on this post, what is the most natural call to action that I could use? Is it book a call with me? Is it go and read my blog? Is it buy my go on my webinar? Whatever it is, think about the call to action. Hashtags, again, do your research. And obviously the document then works down. So right time, call to action, build relationships, DMs. We're going to do selling next week. So we're going to get really into, once you've done all this marketing, you've then got to close the deal. You've then got to actually sell something. And that is me in my absolute sweet spot. I've been selling for 25 years. What's the saying? Sell sand to the Eskimos? No, sell sand to the Arabs, ice to the Eskimos. I could do both of that. I love selling because I love people. And I do sales in the most unsalesy way it is ever possible to do sales. I make sales just about conversation. I make the buyer beg to buy, not me go, please buy from me, please buy from me. So total non-sleazy sales is what we are. Rachael Howourt rocks. Woohoo! Thank you, Lorraine. Oh, you've put me off, made me blush. So yeah, unsleazy sales is what we're going to do next week. So there's no point doing all this marketing and having all these call to actions and having all these people on your webinar, Ben, and all these people booking calls with you if you don't know how to close the deal. So you need to be able to close the deal. And that's another reason why having the value ladder and having your pricing right is so important, because you can't market without that, and you certainly can't close a deal without your services and your pricing absolutely nailed down. So next week is all about selling. But before that, you guys have got some homework to do. Here's your homework. Head to the members area. Some of you have already been there. I've seen you've already answered the questions, you sneaky lot. You want those extra proud points, don't you? So head to the members area and consolidate your learning by answering the quiz questions. There's only, I think it's 4 questions. So you need to do that before, ideally before the mastermind on Thursday, but definitely before next week's module on Tuesday. Access and save down the 2 files, because don't forget, when this program ends, your access to this ends, because I've got to empty you out and empty this program ready for me to sell it, as long as you give me the feedback that it's worth money. And I'm learning all the time about little things about the platform and, you know, what works, what doesn't work. So, yeah, access the files and save them down. Please save them down. Because what I don't want to do is have to start emailing them out and having them get stuck in spam and junk folders and all sorts of stuff, which tends to happen a lot with attachments. So save down those files. And then the last thing is show me that you're using what you've learned. Okay? I want to know that you're using what you've learnt. Take a picture of me on the screen now if you have to. Post it. You know, Leanne, I'm not sure if we've got Leanne here, but Leanne Onslow, bless your heart. She's done a couple of stories where she's tagged me in, you know, and that really shows me that you are getting value from this. And especially given that we're talking about social media, you know, I want to see that you're using this stuff. And also, if I see you posting and I think that you could do it better, then I'll be able to give you feedback. But if I don't see it, I can't give you feedback, okay? So tag me in, let me see it. I'm not asking you to say I'm wonderful, just tag me in so that I can get access to what you're doing. But you can say I'm wonderful if you really feel compelled. So yes, Andy, you have already tagged me in, and so has Chris James. So thank you, Chris James. You tagged me into a story earlier. So I love the ones where you guys are taking pictures of the members area and saying, you know, I'm doing my homework for Rachel, I must be a good student. So yeah, that I love seeing that you guys are doing your homework and you're enjoying doing your homework. That's the main thing. When I used to get homework at school, God, I used to hate it, but you guys are loving it. So thank you, Robert. This is really helpful. The post wheel was excellent, fantastic. Lorraine, totally worth it. You want to go on an island and work on it? I love it. Totally worth it. Was that like the L'Oreal advert? Hey, because I'm worth it. I haven't got nice hair tonight, but if I had nice hair, I'd be able to flick it around for you. But yeah, Lorraine, if you go on an island to work on this, can you take me with you? Because I would so love to be sat on an island now drinking a pina colada. Oh my God, that'd be amazing. So yes, there is your homework, guys. Does anybody have, yeah, Vanessa, come along. Does anybody have any other questions? Let's have a look on Facebook. Still got loads of you on Facebook. Oh, bless you, giving up all this time. I love it. When we grow up, we want to be like you. Oh, Sally, I love you. Sally, you're such a good student. You are literally on fire. I haven't got enough fire emojis to use for you, Sally, because you are so on it. So, and you, Katie, oh my God, you ladies are amazing. And the fact that you've all gone out and bought the high performance planner, oh my God, new school term and all that, it's just loving it. Lovely, clean, crisp, fresh page. Yes, it's amazing. So there's your homework, guys. If for any reason you aren't following me and you want to, there's my social media handles and stuff. I'd love a few more subscribers on YouTube, actually, if you're a YouTube user. Desperate to get up to 100 so that I can create a new name. So yeah, any other questions? Let's let, oh, G&T, God, G&T sounds good. Spent ages doing the homework, loads of aha moments. Amazing, Penny. Where can I get the planner? Oh, Manjula, are you in the Facebook group? If you're in the Facebook group, there's a post in there where in fact, there's a few where we've taken pictures of what it looks like on Amazon. Lorraine managed to get a £7, the steal of a purchase there. So yeah, anybody that hasn't got the planner, the high performance planner, it's not my planner. It's not, you know, the guy who makes it doesn't even know I exist, but it is an amazing an amazing way to plan your day, structure your week. And it's not just a work planner, it's got gratitude, it's got reflections, it's got just real clarity moments. It's just, yeah, it's amazing. Taid, where can I find the Pinterest lesson? It's in the Facebook group, honey. It was a live video. So if you go back and look at the videos part on the menu down the left-hand side, it should be there, okay? If I remember later, I'll try and tag you into it. So I think that's all the questions. We've got no more on Facebook. Sally subscribes to me on YouTube. God, you're amazing. Right, I'm getting too excited now. Too much caffeine, not enough gin. And now I'm thinking about a desert island with Lorraine and Vanessa. So guys, you are amazing. I'm loving your commitment. I'm loving that you're getting value from this. And let's take that value. Let's take what we've learned and go straight onto social media when you're ready with your strategy. And let's do some amazing client attraction, because I promise you, if you go on there and you start using a lot of this stuff, I guarantee by the time we get to the sales bit next week, you will already be having some good conversations. So it would be amazing if I teach you next week how to close sales, and by the end of the program, you've actually won a new client, because that would be absolutely fantastic. So I think I deserve a G&T too. Thank you for giving me the idea, Sue. Not that I needed anybody to give me the idea for alcohol. So yeah, that's it from me. Have a good rest of your day, evening, wherever you are. Stay brilliant, stay focused, and I will see you in the quiz questions and see you on Thursday for the mastermind. Make sure you're there, because it was so good last week. Okay, night, everybody. Bye-bye.